We were talking about 3 watches and a collection with a price cap of $20,000.
Okay.
So I think both of us went the route of spreading it around. The alternative, and I think you delved a little bit into that because you went with
different buckets.
Yeah, exactly. I think you put most of your money into one watch, but not all. So how did you build your 3-watch collection?
So I started by what I think I would wear the most, and I wanted like a high-end casual sport watch that you could dress up or dress down, a little bit of optionality if you ever wanted to take it off a bracelet or change to a strap, from a top brand. And you know, if you're capping it at 20, you know, pretty much Patek Nautilus is going to be off the list. That really only leaves you with, I would say, AP. I mean, there's a lot of brands, but in my mind, AP and Vacheron for that kind of look. And I landed on
Since we've got the watch,
we've got the watch here. So it's actually part of our pre-owned collection, is the Vacheron Overseas Chrono, the discontinued variation of the watch with a black dial and a bracelet. So I actually own the Deep Stream, which is the same watch but with like a gray dial, titanium bezel on a rubber strap. But for the purposes of this, you know, I would probably get more use out of this watch.
Definitely. And in general, when you can get a watch on the bracelet or the strap, even if you prefer the strap, get the bracelet for the value.
Cheaper.
Put it in the box and put it on the strap.
So, and it's generally cheaper to get the strap and the buckle after the fact than it is to get the bracelet after the fact. But no, so I thought this was great for every day. I love the older variation of the watch. I love that it has the big date. And it doesn't bother me that it's not an in-house movement because it's a great movement and there's going to be 0 issues with it.
Yeah, it's a Frédéric Piguet, you know, column wheel. It's got a vertical clutch. You can run it continuously. The double-digit date complication is Vacheron's, and it's legitimately water resistant. 150 meters. It's not a dive watch, but you can swim with it without
I mean, it's got the screw-down pushers, which is great, and for the purposes of this, even though the retail is well over 20, like you can get them pre-owned at quite a good value. So that's how I'm mixing it in. So you said pre-owned or new?
Of course, and so this is just under 13,000 pre-owned. And I'll throw this in. This watch is exactly halfway between, in terms of image and size, it's exactly halfway between something like a traditional Audemars Piguet Royal Oak and an offshore. It strikes a balance between those two without losing any of the elegance of the underlying kind of formality of Vacheron. It doesn't have the brute presence of the offshore, but nor is it as delicate as something like a 5 ATM water-resistant Royal Oak. I really like that it splits the difference.
Yeah, and I think with the popularity of the Royal Oak, you see so many more people wearing them that this is, it's somewhat under the radar, so to speak. So that was that. Second watch on the list is the Grand Seiko re-edition for the 130th anniversary. So this is a limited edition of 1,960 watches for the world.
I'll be the hand model.
And they did a steel, platinum, and gold variation of the watch, and they've done absolutely incredible. So they've kept true to the roots of the original watch. They changed the case a little bit, but it's got a much more updated and better movement with some of, I think the mainspring is their new technology, and then
the power reserve in this is excellent. 3 days.
Yeah.
It is manually wound. I should throw that out there. This is, for those keeping score at home, this is the SBGW 253. There were 3, one in rose gold, one in platinum, and one in steel. This one, 1,960 pieces.
Steel one.
Yeah, this is the steel one, but the case back medallion is yellow gold, 18 karat. This is the one to wear. A nice watch. There are upgrades, slight upgrades in size, proportions, details. The dial is much better made. The hands are much more finely detailed. It features a double curved sapphire rather than the plexiglass of the original from 1960. But this is definitely the one to wear, far more so than the gold and the platinum re-editions.
Yeah, so I thought that this was the perfect sort of, I could wear this, wear this for dress, wear this with a suit, even though you could wear the Vacheron with both, but and I like that you could probably take that off the black croc strap and put something more casual on, like a brown or suede or something like that, and dress down the watch. And, I'm a big fan of Grand Seiko. I think they're doing amazing things. And, again, I love the watch the moment I saw it. So this is actually another pre-owned piece that's available on our website.
I'm going to throw this out. Weber fan 1234. I obliged. I wound the watch. Sorry about that. He wanted to see it in motion. Grand Seiko just doing great things this year with those re-editions. Real sensitive kind of, I think, loving treatments of their history. Definitely not watches designed to play to the market, because not too many people remember the original 3180 caliber reference from 1960, but that's a very nice homage to their history and a great versatile watch. Now your third watch.
My third watch is actually, well, I had like a small amount of room left, so I had to think like, what do I want to fill the gap? And I happened to have been wearing the watch that was perfect. So these pre-owned Seamaster 300Ms, you can get, mine doesn't have boxer papers, but you can get them for about $1,500 without boxer papers. If you can find that, $1,500 to $2,000. So it really fit into the niche for me, and I thought it was like a cross between, I mean, it's not actually even a cross between the two, but it's much more sporty than these. So this is the watch that I would probably wear if I was going to wear a watch to the beach, that I don't care, if it goes into the ocean, get salt water on it, and I can really beat it up and not care.
The nice thing about those watches too is, as long as you don't do something truly horrendous to them, those watches, you'll always be able to sell them pretty much for what you paid for them. Those pre-coaxial Seamaster 300s are the best watches you can buy for the money. They're thin enough to be dress watches, they're rugged enough to be sports watches, they have a permanent market of people who absolutely love them. And for better or worse, the James Bond connection for that family of models will always keep the public mind share high. So, Brian, you busted your budget by about $1,000, but I'm going to let you fly.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so now I've got my 3-watch collection, and you're all wondering if I was going to do like nothing but JLC. I threw one in there, but I wanted to mix it up, because I know you guys out there, you're not necessarily mono brand super fans like I am, but I can give you a good 3-watch recommendation that includes a chronograph. By the way, just to keep track, Brian gave us a collection that included a chronograph, a dress watch, a diver, a general sports watch, and a limited edition. Mine will give you a chronograph, a calendar function, a moon phase, a diver, a dual time/traveler for about $17,500. So my first choice is the Zenith El Primero Chronomaster. This is the watch we remember from the late 90s, early 2000s. For those keeping score, it's the 010240.410. Beautiful and overpowering with a black dial and a steel case. This is a chronometer, it is a chronograph, it is a triple calendar, and it is an El Primero. And you can have that watch on your wrist for about $5,500 to $6,500. $6,500 being really good condition with boxes and papers. Okay, I had to throw one in. Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox. This is the original Master Compressor from 2002 with the caliber 918 inside. It's a diver, 100-meter water-resistant internal bezel. It's an alarm. I would rather travel with an alarm than a dual time. That's the all-purpose complication for me. It's my favorite complication.
We just took it in white gold, actually, I think, with a gray dial. That's super cool.
Stop reminding me.
You need to have that watch.
He's not wrong. But the key thing about this one is that it gives you versatility. It's not so big that you couldn't wear it in formal attire, and yet it's also not so small that, a decade and a half on, we start to feel that it's dated. It was a perfect mix between a little bit of heritage design from the Polaris 68. Remember, we didn't have tribute to Polaris back in 2002, but also some original ideas from the 2000s that have worn well. It is a polarizing watch because of the compressor crowns, but make no mistake, like Panerai locking lever, they work superbly, and they do solve some of the underlying problems of conventional screw downs. Master Compressor Memovox in steel, $5,500 to $6,500. Okay, finally, I'm throwing in a dedicated travel watch, and since I think we both sided with the Habring couple, Richard and Maria, earlier in our segment, I'm going to throw a favor to NOMOS, because I love them deeply and I love them as a brand, and I love the NOMOS Zurich Weltzeit Nachtblau even more.
It's my favorite NOMOS by far.
This was like, I think this was like a watershed watch for them. The basic watch was important and memorable and useful, but the night blue dial is just like,
amazing.
It sizzles. Like there's blue and then there's blue. And if you see the watch, you know what I mean. $4,500 to $5,000 pre-owned. If you want to buy one factory fresh that's never had anyone else's DNA on it, $6,100. A great watch, an in-house caliber, a decent case size at 40 millimeters that's neither too small nor too big, always welcome in any attire. This is a great value.
And it's easy to use.
It is.
Which is like you really want in a world time, is to, like, that you don't want to have to be futzing around with it while you're traveling. It's like, it's super straightforward. and it's a no-brainer.
He's absolutely right, because it's a lot like the JLC geographic complication, where you set your reference city and then it gives you the time for that time zone, so you don't have to like boggle your mind looking at one of those dizzying world time dials, and at the same time you don't have to mentally do the math and figure out how many time zones you're jumping forward or backward as you travel. You just set your reference city and it gives you the hour. So that would be my collection, and you're wondering if I did an all JLC $20,000, it'd be the Master Compressor Memovox, it would be a Reverso Duo, and it would be the 37mm Master Moon. Okay, I had to throw that in.